video is sponsored by Squarespace. I had 3 weeks to paint these miniatures for a gaming tournament and I completely squandered it. Now I'm left with 90 minutes to get these models done and in my friends' hands so that they can use them for their game today. If I don't, well, no one likes great models. There are 20 models in this box, meaning I have approximately 5 minutes that I can spend on each model. But before I even think about touching these models, I need a game plan. First, it just isn't feasible for me to try and paint every single element on this model uniquely. Instead, I need to look at how I'm going to do this in a more holistic approach to paint all of them at once. However, I still want these models to be fun, so instead, we're going to focus on atmosphere. You might not know it, but atmosphere is everywhere in media. Atmosphere is that bluish tint from 2000s horror movies, the sepia tone for zombie shows, and the warm glow of orange and red to signify heat, fire, and blood. Atmosphere is using colors to create a mood. Since this video is focusing on speed, let me break it down for you. Looking for spooky, cold, and eerie, use blue and green. Post-APOC your jam? Then desaturated greens and browns are what you need. Looking for vibrant and magical? Try purple shades. To help you in your painting, I've created several color palettes you can find for free on my Patreon. I'm starting off doing this by hand, but if you want to see the even faster and better way to do this, hang around to the end to learn how to do this with an airbrush. I'm starting by painting my models white. White will allow our colors to appear more vibrantly. If you're going to do this regularly, I recommend a white primer. If you have the time, I highly recommend doing a test model first. There's nothing worse than painting half the models and then realizing you've made some sort of grievous mistake that is going to require you to strip and start again, which definitely did not happen to me during this project. Crap! Next, I'm painting my model the darkest color in my color scheme. Since this game is horror themed, I'm going in with a slightly desaturated blue. I'm using a round brush with a slightly thinned down paint. Though we are going for speed, apply your paint smoothly and evenly. If in your need for speed you create foam or bubbles, that bubble texture will remain on your model. So although I have never experienced this before, it's definitely something you don't want to do. As you begin, keep in mind we don't want to go too dark. If we need to, we can build in shadows in our next step. The next step depends on if you're doing a vibrant color scheme or not. On my blue models, I'm going in with non-oil and allowing it to sink into the recesses. But on my magenta version, where I want the shadows to stay vibrant, I'm skipping the non-oil altogether. And with speed in mind, if you're looking for a quick and easy way to start an online business or online presence, Squarespace has you covered. There's something so satisfying about seeing your artwork online in a professional-looking gallery. So when Squarespace reached out to me, I was excited to build my own. Their gallery templates are customizable, the automatic image scaling makes my photos look good from preview to full size, and I love that I can link my social media so people can keep up with me with whatever I'm working on. The next time someone asks what I do for a living, I will feel far more confident in showing my work with this website. If you want to build your own miniature gallery to show off to friends and family, start offering commissions, or whatever else you can think of, check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/LylaMev to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code LylaMev. Alright, back to painting. Since I'm in a rush, I'm blow drying my washes dry with a blow dryer. However, I am seeing that the wash is drying a bit unevenly. I think the air is causing the wash to gather in strange places in the model instead of the natural recesses it normally would. For me, that's fine, but for you, maybe not. Dry model in hand, I'm dry brushing the base coat over my non-oil wash to pull the base coat back. You can avoid the dustiness of dry brushing by working with a slightly damp brush. This is something that I am still working on, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, the fun part. I want my gradient to go from blue to a cool yellowish green, so I'm mixing all of my colors on my wet palette. Typically, you want to use a dry palette for dry brushing, but since I'm going for speed, I want to lie all of my colors out so that I can use them as needed. If I were to put them on my dry palette, then they might, well, dry. For your dry brushing, you want to use a tightly packed dome brush, like this one I'm using from Army Painter. I have found that most makeup brushes are not packed enough to really get the application I'm after. Now I'm dry brushing up along my gradient, focusing my new colors on the top half of the model. I'm then testing the paint on the back of my hand to make sure it is the right consistency before placing it on my model. We wanted to leave behind a soft, cloud-like application. If you have to push to get the paint off your brush, then either your paintbrush is too dry or there is not enough paint on your brush. If the paint is flowing off of your brush with great ease, then your brush is either too loaded or your brush is too wet. We want it to be just a very soft and even dusting. Each pass of a new color is done with a lighter and lighter hand to only hit the sharp edges and textures of the model. I'm applying each layer to each model in an assembly line style. So by the time I'm done with my last model, my first model should be dry and ready for another layer of paint. If you have time, which I definitely don't, from here you could go in with a round brush and do a bit of edge highlighting to hit the utmost important areas and really help draw the eye where you want it. Okay, but what if you want to use an airbrush? Start by basing your model in white and then in your darkest color. Using a white ink, Zenith will highlight your model from above. Don't move your airbrush or model around too much. We want this to be a pretty bright spray directly from above. Second, add in your mid-tone color and again, spray directly from above in tight circles. For my highlight, I'm dumping out the majority of my mid-tone into a cup off to the side and then going in with white and yellow ink to achieve the highlight color that I'm after. Then I'm focusing on the highest areas on the model and areas that I want to bring the eye towards, like the head and the wings. The nice thing about using your airbrush for this is that you don't have to clean your airbrush in between each step. Since I am building on top of the previous step by only dumping out some of the paint and adding in more paint, it actually goes a lot faster. Oh crap! Hey, Fiverr.
Hey, Lyla.
Did I get these in time for the tournament?
Tournament? What This is a board game.
Oh, what? Well, did I at least get them to you in time for your game today?
Sure. I mean, we aren't playing till tomorrow?
Alright, that's it from me. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, go join me on Patreon. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.